Adventures, and today is going to be a shortish loop from Avebury. Just to introduce myself, my name's Budgie. I'm a tour guide, not just on the dual purpose bikes but on road bikes as well, and I'm an advanced coach and do some other bits and pieces as well. So today's route is going to be about 60 miles and we've designated it as a blue or an easy run. So the team are already here and we're just arriving in Avebury in the Red Lion pub, and it's quite a famous pub, and that's because it's the only one that sits in a stone circle apparently. One of the most haunted in the UK. Originally it was a farmhouse, built in the 16th 17th century and then became a coaching inn in the 19th century, based in the middle of Avebury. So there are allegedly 5 different ghosts which haunt this pub, but the most famous one is Florrie, and this is her final resting place, so they say. She was found in the arms of another fella. Husband came home, shot the fella and stabbed her before bunging her down that well. So little overview there of Avebury itself. It's a World Heritage Site, a Neolithic village dating back almost to about 4,000 years BC, and it's the largest circle of standing stones which visitors can still get up close to and touch if they need to, unlike the nearby Stonehenge. So just coming through the middle of Avebury now, and you can see the stones to the left and the right side of the road and the hill and ditch just on the top there. And as the caption says, we're just coming down the avenue. So the avenue is I don't know what the significance of it is. I don't know if anybody knows what the significance of it is. It kind of links Avebury to another nearby place called the Sanctuary, and from what I can gather, there were about 100 of these stones set about 15 metres apart, and it runs for about 1.5 miles, something like that. There are some suggestions that they were male and female. I don't know what the deal is with that. But this area is absolutely full of all sorts of Neolithic, prehistoric places like Silbury Hill, also loads of different barrows or burial mounds dotted around this part, and as we trickle on through, so we're just this isn't, we sped this up a little bit because it's a bit boring, as you can probably appreciate from some of these sorts of videos, but we're just kind of dropping down on some of the lanes which are around about the sort of Wiltshire area. And we have picked up a little bit of a byway, and this one leads us over towards Alton Barnes, and we came across the little single electric fence on the left hand side, and some of the calves had escaped, so we're just trickling through here, just trying to round them back up and persuade them to go back to mum on the other side of the road. Just coming down one of the byways here, signpost is Alton Barnes, but if you have a look on the left hand side there, you'll see a place called Knapp Hill. So it's quite an impressive hill, overlooks the south of the county, stands at about 968 feet, and it's got one of Wiltshire's 7 white horses carved into the hillside. So coming into Westwoods, Westwoods is highly likely to be on any of the tours that that we do out of Avebury and down towards sort of Salisbury Plain, Stonehenge, that sort of thing, and it's worth a visit, especially in late spring, when the ground is carpeted with bluebells, and I'll fire a picture up shortly onto the vid here. There it is. It's breathtaking, it really is. Westwoods itself has got some archaeological links to Stonehenge. There's a strong suggestion that the larger sarsen stones, which are the 4 metre 25 tonne stones, were quarried here and transported to 23 miles. There's one there. Quarried and taken to 23 miles somehow to Stonehenge. We'll have a picture coming up shortly about Stonehenge, and Stonehenge is essentially built up of the Sarsen stones and the blues. The blues allegedly came from what's the name? The Preseli Hills in Wales. Westwards itself, there is a byway that kind of that goes through. Be careful if you do come through here. It's quite slippery underfoot. Some of these hills, the videos just don't do them justice. They are quite steep in places. Loads of dog walkers, pedestrians, horses, that sort of stuff. So just be careful when you set yourself through here. There's a big long barrow in the middle, a burial mound, which is quite impressive. 40 metres long and 23 metres wide. Stonehenge, as you could see on the picture there, a world-renowned prehistoric stone circle dating back about 5,000 years, as I might have already said. There's a lot of discussion on how the blues were transported the 138 miles from Wales into Stonehenge, but you know, do a little bit of research in the background in relation to that. So we are blessed in Wiltshire. We've got a network of byways, UCRs dotted all around the place. This is one of our blue routes, and as a rule of thumb, I try and avoid ruts on a blue route. They're generally a little bit slower, a little bit less rutty, but unfortunately sometimes you've just got to get onto them and smash through them. We had a couple of people have a bit of a lie down when we took this one out, but everybody was safe and sound. Still a little bit damp underfoot, and with the clay and the chalk in the Wiltshire area, water does tend to stand for a little while. Just be careful. Some are quite deep, and there are some people out there that will put wood across and underneath the water and put some nails through them to try and punch your tyres, so just be careful. All the byways around Wiltshire should be manageable by motorcycle, and most of them by 4x4, although it does get a little bit scratchy in places, so I wouldn't take your very expensive Range Rover if I were you. As the screen says, we got to cooperate with walkers, dogs, and especially horses. As a rule of thumb, the horses that I've always come across in the 15 years or so, maybe even more, that I've been doing this, have always been really good, and it might be down to having a little bit of respect and courtesy for the horse riders. Again, this clip just doesn't do the severity of the hill any justice. What I would say, another Budgie top tip, be careful of these overhanging branches. Sometimes you don't see them until the last second, or don't see them at all, and you'll get whipped across the face if you've got your visor open. Sometimes it's worth carrying just some of those cheap plastic clear safety specs in your go bag, and it just helps a little bit with not picking up an injury or getting a bit of a slap across the face. So we've sort of migrated now all the way up to sort of the Old Bourne area. Decided to dig the drone out and have a bit of a fly around. Just up the way here, you could see where some of the 4x4ers have got a bit excited and done some donuts and that sort of stuff. They're not doing us any favours by chewing up the countryside. Just on our way to Snow Hill, and we came across some of the big boys coming out on the Christmas TRF trail at Thruxton. Nice bunch, and really nice to see fresh faces coming into the county and recognising what Wiltshire's got on offer. So if you have a look at this picture that's following, I turned around to see this utter carnage, as the thing says. So it looks like one of the lads who's a bit shorter put his foot down, didn't find any ground, and then fell on top of one of the other lads. And nobody was hurt, and we managed to sort of pick the bikes up and get ourselves going down this absolutely fantastic vista, and this epitomises, if you like, the Wiltshire countryside. It's absolutely fantastic through here. The lanes are reasonably easy. The biggest downfall really is how slippery things can be, and you just got to be a little bit careful. So just panning back there just to the face of the hill and a couple of the rocks which seem to be strewn all over the blinking place in Wiltshire. Be careful on some of the trails because some of these rocks are overgrown, especially with some of the byways which are closed seasonally between October and April. And when they get overgrown, these rocks, as I said, just disappear into the grass. So keep that in the back of your mind. Coming down to Lower Upham Farm, I put this one in because, again, it's quite chalky, leaf covered and that sort of thing. Bit of a barrel shape as well, so it tends to throw you out. Again, we've got a couple of cardinal rules that we like. The one of them is that you must be able to stop in the distance that you see to be clear on the trails. Don't go around the corner so quickly that you're going to skid and hit a dog that's off the lead, a pedestrian, a horse rider, or God forbid the front of a 4x4 with a winch bumper on the front, because that will hurt a lot. Obviously this is Barby Castle, loads of walkers because they park their car up in the car park and sort of disappear off in all sorts of directions. Some closures up here this time of the year between October and April, so just be careful to check the definitive map and statement so you don't get into trouble for being in the wrong places. It's well signposted, there's no reason that you shouldn't be up there, that you should be up there. We're lucky with this bit. This is Offcott, quite a steep, chalky descent down into the village, but open to motorcycles. You can see on the right side there, you can see where the 4x4s treat it as a bit of a pay and play site, and it's been like that for flipping generations. So it's not just the new people that are doing that. You know, we were riding with a chap and he said he used to go up there as a teenager on a motorbike, so you know it's well known and well trodden path up there. In pretty good repair, in fairness, because it's quite hard underfoot. Just be careful of these ruts. They are a little bit deeper than you might think, and there are rocks all over the flipping place down here. This little bit, we are starting to track our way back round. As I said, it was a short blue route today, and this leads from Broadtown, Broadhinton sort of area, reasonably easy going. And you know, if you come on one of our runs, one of our trails, and you house yourself in Royal Wootton Basset, then this is one of the first trails that we'll pick up, just to blow out the cobwebs and get your muscles into riding off the tarmac. Again, loads of horses, loads of dog walkers and pedestrians, so always be able to stop in the distance that you can see to be clear. Another one of our cardinal rules is if we have any horses or dogs off the lead, we'll stop and turn the engines off, please, if you're with me. And we'll have a little bit of patience and a little bit of courtesy and restraint when we're out riding around. If you want to go racing around all over the place, then Tiptoe Adventures is not the place for you. We take in the sights, we try and respect the countryside as best as we can, and we drink lots of coffee, eat lots of cake, and we all have a good time, which is what it's all about. Our last rule that we tend to impose, and there's not too many rules, but these three are the difference between you getting hurt or not, or us losing the lanes or not, is you must not overtake a moving motorbike within our group. And the reason for that is, if as you could probably appreciate it, on a loose surface like this, there could be any number of hazards on the track that you are looking down. And if I wanted to change from one rut to another rut, or change position from one side to the other side of the lane, then sometimes I don't have the time to do the mirror check, shoulder checks and lifesavers before I move. I'll just move across. And what I don't want to happen is somebody coming racing past me and we all end up tangled. That brings me quite nicely on to looking after yourself. If you do, whether you come with us or whether you come to visit Wiltshire on your own, Salisbury Plain is about the size of the Isle of Wight. It's a big old training place. Stick to the legal byways, please, and have what 3 words on your phone so that you know how to get in touch with the emergency services and pinpoint exactly where you are if you get hurt out in the middle of nowhere. On all my trips, I'll be carrying a med kit and a puncture repair kit and some basic tools. What I'd ask is, if you're not riding a CRF 300, then sort yourself out a little tool belt of kit so that we can change the tyres for you. Everything else we've got, tubes and that sort of stuff. We'll carry the drone, carry the med kit, and lots of other things. And as I said, there's loads of opportunity to stop and have drinks and refuel and that sort of stuff. If you want to come and join us, TiptoeADV at outlook.com, as it flagged up on there, is the place to get in touch. Price wise, we run a 5-to-1 ratio, which is £50 per person to come and join us. I can point you in the direction of hotels and that sort of stuff to sleep overnight, or you can store your bikes in my garage and I'll come and pick you up in the car in the morning, point you in the direction of some restaurants and that sort of stuff. But for now, bye for me, and hopefully see you on the trails. Take care now, bye.